Welcome to this week in the world of wrestling.
Welcome to TWitWoW, the best wrestling podcast made for wrestling fans, by wrestling fans, on the web today. I am John, alongside my cohort and commentary Ashton, and this is our Friday night Smackdown review. This was the go-home Smackdown before Payback this Sunday, and I quite enjoyed this show. Ashton, what did you think?
It was alright. I don't know. It wasn't bad or anything, but I feel like it was definitely skippable, let's put it that way.
Absolutely, absolutely. So with that said, let us get right into our first segment, Heat of the Night. And Ashton, do you have any heats of the night tonight?
I don't think I have any heats of the night tonight, but if I did, it would just be, I feel like they're on cruise control still. And, I mean, there are rumors that WWE officials are kind of concerned that NXT TakeOver is going to come off as better than WWE Payback. And if that's the case, if that's a legitimate concern for you, why didn't you just try harder on your week leading up to Payback?
Yeah, it's like, we tell each other when we're in a trolling mood, just suck less. It's really not that hard. As for me, I do have one legitimate heat of the night that I want to go over just very quickly.
Good.
I hated, it's actually on two fronts, but the same match. First of all, I hated that they gave away a last man standing match on free TV.
Oh, yeah, that was awful.
Second of all, what was even worse than that, I hated that there was, even though I know it's a match where there are no rules, so I guess everything still results in a clean win, I hated that the Wyatt family had to interfere on behalf of Bray, going against one half of the freaking Usos.
Yeah.
If you need to interfere for Bray to beat an Uso, now I'm convinced that there's going to be a ton of interference going into Bray's match with John Cena at Payback.
No, dude, here's my thing, though. To me, the whole point of them having this last man standing match on SmackDown, the entire purpose of it, at least in my opinion, was so that they could establish Sister Abigail as a finisher that is powerful enough to put somebody down for a 10 count, for the purpose of when John Cena stands up at 9 3/4 from that move on Sunday, people act shocked.
And I completely agree with that assessment. However, that doesn't change the fact that, to me, I really, ever since WrestleMania, I just don't like how Bray Wyatt has been coming out in this feud. In terms of his booking, in terms of people's reactions, and by people I primarily mean Cena, to him. His
now,
promos
just to be clear, do you actually mean since WrestleMania, or do you mean since Extreme Rules?
You know what? I do mean since WrestleMania, because though he's done...
seems like leading up to and including Extreme Rules, Bray was looking pretty golden, and ever since Extreme Rules, everything's kind of gone downhill because Cena's just no-sold the entire thing.
Yeah, but I feel like he was even no-selling stuff going into Extreme Rules, because it was like that theory you came out with the night he had that brilliant angle with the kids singing, he's got the whole world in his hands. At first, he brushes off Renee Young, and I'm thinking, oh, great, Cena's gonna stew, he's gonna really, think this over, he's gonna get desperate. And then, in the second hour or some point after that, when all the kids have gone to bed, per your theory, he makes a joke about buying Bray Wyatt a donkey and shoving his foot up his ass, and I'm like, you just crapped all over it. It was one of the best segments in recent, Raw memory. Some even said Raw history. And he just pulls his pants down by his ankles and he craps all over it. And then you and I hashed to death the main event promo, so I'm not even touching that with a 10-foot pole. I just feel like, and now with Eric Rowan having to interfere, trying to get some offense on an Uso, and he ate a super kick for his troubles, that shouldn't happen. Bray Wyatt's a monster. He should be able to handle his own affairs. I want the Bray Wyatt that brutalized Daniel Bryan at Royal Rumble and beat him decisively in that ring. That's the Bray Wyatt I want at Payback, and I'm just going to end it by saying that I hope we get it.
I think that I can honestly say that you were just speaking for everyone when you said that. I mean, you're far from the only person that wants Bray Wyatt to be dominant, and I think that we all kind of want a little bit of a comeuppance for him having beaten Daniel Bryan decisively. Well, if he can beat the guy who's the current champion and who, in his last match with John Cena, beat him decisively, why can't he beat John Cena decisively?
I want to end it on that question, because there's nothing else you can say besides that. So I'm good if you're good.
I'm good too. Do we want to move on?
Absolutely. Let's get right into our Friday night Smackdown review. And Ashton, how do we open this baby up?
We open the night up with Cesaro.
Yes, the King of Swing, Cesaro, going one-on-one with Kofi Kingston. This is a fairly quick match, all things considered. I'm really not that surprised. I mean, Kofi really these days is low man on the totem pole. What I liked about this match, though, was that Cesaro actually won with the uppercut, and the uppercut again, getting the RKO treatment. Kofi Kingston was going off the top rope with a crossbody, and Cesaro connected with it and got the pin, and he hit the neutralizer as a post-match assault. Really like the booking here for Cesaro, Ashton.
Yeah, I mean, if we're looking at the ladder that is the WWE from 1 to 10, and like, say, Brock Lesnar and The Undertaker are 10s, Cesaro's like an 8 right now, Kofi's like a 3. So this was exactly how quick it should have been.
Completely agree with you. Cesaro's got a lot of momentum heading into Payback, and I really think he's going to have quite the barn burner with Sheamus. Can't wait.
Absolutely. So up next, we had Renee Young interviewing Bad News Barrett backstage. He says that if people think he's losing the title this Sunday, he's afraid he's got some bad news. He says all RVD has going for him is his stupid hand gesture, and then he turns his attention to Sheamus and says the United States is just one country, but he's the champion of all the continents on the planet. And thank you very much. And then he walks away.
Yeah, I really enjoyed this Bad News Barrett promo. I think my favorite soundbite from it was RVD's past isn't nearly as impressive as my last month. I really liked how he put himself over, put the Intercontinental Championship over. Great stuff from BNB here.
I think it would have been even better if he would have said RVD's past isn't as bright as my future.
Yeah, you know what? It looks like you bested him there, because I would have preferred that now that you say it, yeah.
All right, so up next, The Shield, out to the ring through the crowd, and this, to me, probably Dean Ambrose's best promo since he's gotten on WWE television. Like, he's finally getting the opportunity to really talk, and boy, oh boy, man, I was a freaking giddy little fangirl watching him talk in here. Like, he's so good. This promo reminded me why Dean Ambrose was such an anticipated debut for me leading up to the point that he debuted with the Shield, because I feel like he, just as a character, has been watered down in order to be a part of the Shield, and just this promo makes me crave his singles run more and more.
Oh, brother, you and me both. Like, I just thought about you, like, nonstop while he was cutting that promo, and I'm thinking Ashton's gotta be loving this, and I'm so glad you gave it such a glowing review, because I really felt like this was Dean Ambrose's finest hour to date.
Yeah.
Pretty much talking about, you know, how low we're willing to go, how far we're willing to go to beat you guys down, and how crazy, and that's what I loved about it. He said, how crazy we're willing to get. And he pretty much said, yeah, the Shield and Evolution are going to war, and they are going to put Evolution down. And boy, do I not envy Evolution right now.
Yeah.
Great stuff from Dean Ambrose. Seth Rollins, you and I have said it over and over again, dude. He has really gotten a command of the microphone. So proud of him. And Roman Reigns being bred as the next guy, I think he delivered like he always does.
Yeah, Roman Reigns' promo was a little bit more on the awkward side than you'd like to see from somebody getting quite the top billing that he is. But the other two guys definitely delivered. Rollins said that what doesn't kill you make you stronger, and after Monday they're more focused and more angry than they've ever been. We got footage of Evolution attacking them and Triple H using the sledgehammer. Ambrose says Evolution must be very happy with themselves, but we don't care. We'll keep getting back up no matter what. Sunday's no holds barred. And then, like you said, it was do you realize how low we're willing to stoop, how crazy we're willing to get, that kind of stuff. Rollins said he's going to pin Randy Orton and eliminate him, and then maybe they'll go after Batista, and then maybe Triple H will be the last guy in the ring by himself, and he'll have to face all three of them alone. And then the end of Evolution will be Extinction. Reigns says that he got put through a table. Big mistake. I freaking love that. So then he says on Sunday they're going to bring kendo sticks, chairs, sledgehammers, and every announced table they have at their disposal. Believe in that. And believe in the Shield.
Roman Reigns has really become quite the master of the one-liner. Like, they put me through an announce table. Big mistake. Or my personal favorite, is that all you got? Because that's the case, you've got serious problems.
And my personal favorite, people are gonna hate. They're irrelevant.
Yeah, cannot wait for this match, dude. Believe that, and I sure as hell believe in the Shield.
Absolutely. Up next, Tamina versus Paige with constant Alicia Fox distraction, but it doesn't matter because Paige still picks up the win. The ironic thing here is that I don't know if the WWE realized it or not, but they just buried the entire Divas locker room because Tamina won the freaking Battle Royal against every diva in the locker room other than Paige to get that shot at Paige, proving that she is the best non-champion diva. And here, Paige handled her so well that even despite Alicia Fox's distraction, she still picked up the win.
Yeah, on one hand, I really like the booking because they're really billing Paige as this newcomer, that's not welcomed in the locker room, right? So they're going to play that inexperienced edge, and I like how she was able to get distracted so easily because it shows, kayfabe speaking, that she has a lot to learn being a champion. On the other hand, I felt like you would have created a very interesting dynamic if you had Tamina get the win here, seeing as how you had Emma beat Alicia Fox very recently. And you could have created a nice thing, with three potential contenders, Alicia.
See,
Emma,
but at what point do wins and losses stop to have meaning entirely? Like, when everyone is losing to everybody, does anybody look good?
And that's a very fair point. And, I don't know. I think, again, the majority of me thinks, yeah, Paige going over was the right move. But there is that slight part of me that's like, well, I wonder what could have been. But, yeah, nonetheless, great effort from Paige. And I really am looking forward to her and Alicia Fox's match this Sunday at Payback.
Yeah, I mean, don't get it twisted. I don't think that the incorrect decision here was for Paige to win. That needed to happen all along, in my opinion. The incorrect decision here was for Alicia Fox to be distracting Paige, making Tamina look worse because she can't beat a distracted Paige.
Right.
So really, I mean, if it was me, I would have maybe had Alicia Fox on commentary because that would have been a hilarious train wreck. But other than that, I think they should have just had Tamina and Paige going at it for Paige to prove that she's just the better woman.
Absolutely. Nothing more needs to be said than that.
All right. So up next, we had a video package about the history of the Intercontinental Championship that actually both mid-card titles got a pretty decent amount of shine tonight. It was actually quite nice. Renee Young backstage with Sheamus says he doesn't know about all the continents and he wasn't a big geography buff, but he is the U.S. champion and he's going to give Bad News Barrett a beating later tonight. Champion versus champion. Very, very generic promo from Sheamus here. I'm not even surprised.
Yeah, if you've heard one promo from Sheamus about his Irish roots and how he loves to fight, you've pretty much seen this promo. Nothing more to say than that.
Absolutely. So up next, we had John's favorite segment of the night, Bo Dallas versus Xavier Woods.
Oh, so amazing. No, this was great, because Bo pretty much says that he's already started the undefeated streak thing, and I didn't know if they were going to go that route or not, and I gotta be honest, I'm happy they are.
Yes,
because,
it's amazing.
Yeah,
he's
yeah,
2-0.
Definitely. 2-0. And, it's all about that Bo leaving, and that's how he's able to do it. This match was good. I didn't expect Xavier Woods to win. I feel bad for Woods because I've known him since he was Consequences Creed. I'm a fan of his work, but he's just not going anywhere right now. I hope that changes maybe by next year. But Bo Dallas gets the win again after the running Bo Dog, as apparently it's called.
Oh, so good.
And yeah, he hugs Xavier Woods after the match, and Xavier Woods just has this look like, okay. So yeah, great Bo Dallas material here. The trolling, the Bo leaving, just everything was perfect.
All you gotta do is Bo leave.
Always. All day, every day.
All day, okay, anyway, so up next, we got a video package for the Wyatt-Cena feud. Not a huge deal. They announced the Bray versus Jimmy Uso last man standing match. Ticked me off too, don't worry. And then we got El Torito versus Jinder Mahal. And yet again, El Torito over one of the 3MB guys.
It was your basic El Torito versus 3MB member type matchup. It looks like El Torito's in trouble, but oh wait, he overcomes due to some hilarious shenanigans. No.
That stopped being hilarious about 3 weeks ago.
Exactly. After the match, Los Matadores and El Torito, they corner Hornswoggle. El Torito's got the shears. Looks like he's going to take it to Hornswoggle's mop of hair. Of course, 3MB gets away, but Hornswoggle will have to face the inevitable at Payback, I'm sure. I don't care anymore. I feel like you really just committed sacrilege on your WLC match, which was so entertaining, by continuing this feud. I've personally lost all interest, and that's about it.
The hair versus mask match to me is just stupid. I mean, nobody actually believes Torito's going to lose his mask, so I don't understand the whole point of it. So up next, we had our title versus title mid-card match, Sheamus versus Bad News Barrett. Paul Heyman on commentary, scouting for his client, Cesaro. And yeah, this was a really, really good match that probably should have been on a pay-per-view, not on SmackDown.
Yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed the match. I mean, these two are brawlers, it's always going to be an in-your-face, smash-mouth kind of matchup, which I always enjoy. That and technical wrestling, I think, are my two favorite styles these days. I think if I had one complaint, it's that the finish just came so abruptly. Like, Sheamus just got that bro kick. I was hoping for just a little bit more back and forth because that match looked like it was hitting that next gear. But you know what? It just makes Sheamus look like that overcoming all odds babyface, and that doesn't really bode well for Cesaro, and it shows you that the bro kick could come out of nowhere. So I guess all in all, no harm, no foul. After the match, Sheamus does intimidate Paul Heyman, by putting his hands on him, though not necessarily attacking him, still proving that he is a complete and utter douchebag.
Yeah, Sheamus is the heeliest babyface ever.
Yeah, I mean, here's Paul Heyman, a father of 2 children, who's simply an advocate, and Sheamus just feels the need, even though Paul Heyman hasn't done any kind of head-based damage or any kind of assaults to Sheamus. Sheamus feels the need to, put his hands on Paul Heyman. So real classy there, champ, real classy.
Yeah, it was bad. So after the win, as you said, the assault on Paul Heyman, how dare you, Sheamus. But then probably the weirdest, most hilarious, barbaric segment of the night, Titus O'Neil versus Big E. Rusev comes out as like third in the chain of entrances. Like before the match even starts, he comes out and he's up on the ramp waving his Russian flag. But then the bell rings and Titus gets the surprise attack on Big E. But the momentum doesn't really last. Big E hits a few clotheslines, a suplex, a splash, and the big ending, and that's it. But then after the match, it's like, the cliche thing to say on the internet is a dick waving contest. Well, this was basically that, but with flags.
Yeah, and you know what really disappointed me about this match is as I was watching it, I kind of sighed to myself because I thought, too little, too late. I mean, I am looking forward to Rusev and Big E's clash at Payback, but when I saw him really dismantle Titus O'Neil, I was thinking, that should have been his Intercontinental Championship reign. I felt like it started off so promising, and then he hit such a lull. Like, I want to see him dominate people like that. It's fun to watch. That's why I was such a big fan of Ryback. That's why I'm a fan of Rusev right now. That's why I was a fan of Big E, and still am because I know what he can do in NXT. But, man, like, seeing him mow down Titus, I'm like, why aren't we seeing more of that, man? Like,
Because not a lot of people are as pathetic as Titus.
That's true. He's
Speaking of pathetic, let's talk about Jack Swagger.
What even was this match, dude?
Well, just so that we can clarify for everybody listening that didn't watch SmackDown, Jack Swagger versus Adam Rose happened on SmackDown when this is a feud that they've been building up pretty much since Adam Rose debuted, and the blow-off, random SmackDown match. Why?
I don't get it. As for the match itself, I'm just going to take a stab in the dark here and say that you were disappointed because I know what you were hoping for from this match because you said multiple times you were hoping that they'd go 10-some minutes so we'd really get to see Adam Rose in action and really be tested from an in-ring standpoint. This wasn't anywhere close to that, so can I assume that you were disappointed with this, or how did you feel about it?
It's kind of a weird dynamic because I'm disappointed that they didn't go longer, but Rose got all of his signature offense in pretty much. He did the flips to avoid the hammerlock. He did the the rose petal. He did the spine buster. Pretty much everything that we've seen him do as Adam Rose in NXT, he got to do here. I just want to see more.
Right. And see, that's the thing. Like, what I really liked about this match, which is far outweighed by what I didn't like, including the form in which it was held, as you said, was that it seemed like Adam Rose was just pulling out all the shenanigans here. I mean, the rolling around, as you said, the constantly evading Swagger with the speed. Like, it was a great psychological game, even though, like, at first glance it would just seem like, oh, he's just partying and having a good time, which is true, but he definitely has a way of getting in the head of his opponents, which I think is great. And then he just catches Swagger with that pinning combination out of nowhere, and Swagger's just shocked because he's thinking, wow, this is what my career's been reduced to. So, in that way, I was definitely entertained because it's like, wow, look at Adam Rose psyching out his opponents. But in the other hand, I'm just like, man, I really wish we could see that classic Ray LaPon offense, that Leo Kruger offense that we love so much, but we didn't get it here.
Yeah, and really the most disappointing thing is that Rose won with a roll-up.
Right, yeah, pretty much. I mean, yeah, he just caught Swagger abruptly with a pin, and he got him, and then that was it, which I think is really... What is it with Swagger and losing so easily these days? Like, a kick by RVD, follows it up immediately with a frog splash, gets caught in a pinning combination.
That ladder I was talking about earlier, WrestleMania 29, he was at like a 7, maybe an 8. Now he's at like a 4.
I'm surprised you ranked him that high. At this rate, I'd be putting him in the negatives. Like,
well, we got to realize who we're comparing him to, though. Kofi was a 3. I don't think Swagger's below Kofi.
Not yet, but it may not be much longer at this trajectory until he gets there. I
don't think I would be disappointed by that because it's been way too long and the WWE has invested way too much time and money into somebody that just flat out isn't that good.
I still want to put some money on a Swagger face turn for me because I do see potential there. But yeah, right now I feel like you're totally losing out on that investment, WWE.
Yeah. All right, so final segment of the night: Bray Wyatt versus Jimmy Uso, last man standing. Don't get me wrong, this match was really, really freaking good. The disappointing thing is that we had a last man standing match on a random episode of SmackDown in the first place. Again, like I said cruise control earlier, maybe I should have been hot shot control because they hot shotted everything to this show. Title versus title between the two mid-card championships, that's huge. Tamina versus Paige, that was literally just a pay-per-view match. Freaking, what were you just talking about? Swagger versus Adam Rose, that should have been on the pay-per-view. And now, a last man standing match on a random episode of SmackDown. I just don't get the logic that goes into this.
I don't get it either. And again, like, this should have been, if you were going to do it, you should have had Bray brutalize. It was Jimmy Uso, you said, correct?
Yeah, and here's my thing. It's a last man standing match, therefore it's no disqualification. And on top of that, the entire Wyatt family was out there. Guess who wasn't out there, John?
John Cena.
So it was 3-on-2. Now, even if Bray Wyatt decides, you know what, I'm going to be honorable here, why didn't Rowan and Harper freaking brutalize Jey Uso to keep him from preventing Bray Wyatt from basically brutalizing Jimmy?
I don't know why anybody did what they did in this match. That's not to say it was horrendous, but to me, I feel like...
Here's the thing, though. The match wasn't horrendous, but the overall big picture psychology was.
Yeah, and that I will agree with, because another problem I had with it, dude, when you give away a match like this on free TV, and when you look at the timestamp when you and I were watching it, you knew it wasn't going to get that much time because it was nearing the conclusion. This match was very self-contained in the sense that it's a no DQ-esque match, and yet, like, no weapons really got used, none of that, which I can understand because you don't want to do that because you're saving all that for payback. But then you're really booking yourselves in a corner, so, like, why did you do this to begin with? I just felt like everything about this was wrong, even though, again, like, the in-ring product wasn't horrendous, but I think Ash was running on the money.
Here's my thing. I would not have had a problem with this whatsoever if they said, last man standing match, Bray Wyatt versus Jimmy Uso, and the match got less than 5 minutes and Bray got a decisive victory with the only Harper and Rowan interference being involved in taking Jay out of the picture so that Bray could have Jimmy to himself.
Yeah. I mean, again,
To me, that's how this match should have gone down. This match should have been Bray Wyatt is superior to Jimmy Uso, flat out. That's been proven already. Bray Wyatt's already pinned one of the Uso brothers. I don't know if it was Jimmy or Jay, but regardless, he is clearly superior to both of them individually. And if you take them out of the picture, the only people left are Rowan, Harper, and Jay. So that's 2-on-1. So even if the WWE doesn't want to concede that Rowan and Harper individually are better than Jay Uso, 2-on-1, that's not going to make anyone look bad. So the only logical conclusion to jump to is that this should have basically been a squash match. This should have been Bray Wyatt beats the crap out of Jimmy Uso, hits signature offense, maybe even does a little dance with him, nails Sister Abigail and gets the 10 count in less than 5 minutes. This should have been basically a squash match. Not because I want the tag team champions to look weak, but because Bray Wyatt needs to look strong. If you're expecting anyone to believe that he can beat John Cena in a last man standing match on Sunday.
That's it. I mean, that's freaking it. I mean, and you even said it, like, the Usos are tag team champions. They're not even singles competitors. Again, does WWE already forget that at this past Royal Rumble, Bray Wyatt got a decisive, competitive victory over Daniel freaking Bryan? The idea that Jimmy got as much offense as he did and as many hope spots as he did, to me, is a crock. I'm sorry, but it's a freaking crock. He should have destroyed him.
And there are really no excuses for this match to have gone on for this long. Are you really this intent on keeping Jimmy freaking Uso looking strong as a singles competitor? Really? Is he going to be a mid-card champion in the next year? No, of course not. Did you really want to use this match to prove that Bray Wyatt can put on a good match? Because to me, not only did his Daniel Bryan match prove that, but both John Cena matches and now the upcoming third John Cena match are also going to go pretty freaking far to prove that. So that's not a necessity either. This was a completely pointless match as far as the length goes. It should have been a squash. I am perfectly content saying that.
I mean, there's more I want to say, but you know what? I'm gonna save that for when we get to our discussion of Payback itself. So let's just move on.
High spots and low shots.
Yeah. My low shot, gonna keep it real simple, Tamina. And you pretty much did the perfect review of why. I mean, she had every advantage at her disposal to beat the champion in a non-title contest and get herself back in contendership, and she wet the bed pretty much. So, yeah, she's my low shot.
My low shot's actually going to be Bad News Barrett, because he proved something that I have been suspecting for a really long time now, and that is the Intercontinental Championship is third engine behind the United States Championship now.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Sheamus got the win in a match that actually did get a nice amount of hype, which I will say was wonderful to see. But, you know, when a match gets that kind of hype, whoever emerges victorious is going to look like they have the superior championship. That was Sheamus, ergo the United States title is superior to the Intercontinental Championship. So, excellent
Which
choice.
is something that I've been saying for months now.
That is true. He has said it. Go back in the archives. But that said, my high spot, you know what? Screw it. I'm in a good mood. My high spot's the Shield.
Okay.
Because, yeah, even after taking sledgehammer shots to the face and or gut if you were Roman Reigns, they come out on SmackDown and they look to me as threatening as ever. Evolution, I love you guys, but I wouldn't want to be you come Payback. No freaking way.
My high spot is, oh man, I wanted to say Adam Rose, but you know what? I'm going to go with El Torito.
Yeah, I mean, why not? I mean, he's beaten guys that are significantly bigger than him. He's beaten all three members of 3MB.
Has El Torito ever lost a match as a singles competitor?
He did lose one match to Hornswoggle. Hornswoggle owns one victory over El Torito.
Was it a singles match, though, or was it a...
It was a singles match. I think it was on an episode of either Superstars or Main Event, though, so I'm sure not many people...
Okay, well, put it this way then. El Torito is undefeated against actual 3MB.
Yeah, really. How sad is that?
Yeah. I mean, in order to beat him, you clearly need midget powers, which is what Hornswoggle has, which is why he could beat him that one time.
Exactly.
It's mystical, man. It's a mystery, just like Evolution.
There you go.
All right, let's move on. Ready?
Absolutely. Bring it on.
No. I said, are you ready?
Yeah!
30-second hot seat.
Come on. Bring it on! Come on!
All right. I have suspected for a couple weeks now that because of the Daniel Bryan injury that we're going to have 2 Money in the Bank matches, one for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship and one for the briefcase. Your first task is to name who the... Actually, you know what? Your first task is going to be how many people are going to be in each one. How many people are going to be in the WWE World Title Money in the Bank? How many people are going to be in the actual briefcase Money in the Bank? And then your second task is to tell me who you think is going to win each one. I would like for you to tell me who you think is most likely to win and who you want to win most, if those aren't the same. So those are your tasks. Remember, number of people in both, who's going to win both, who you want to win both. You have 30 seconds, and your time starts now.
I see 8 people in the world title one and 6 people in the Money in the Bank one. For the world title one, who I want to win would be Bray Wyatt, who I think will win Randy Orton. For the Money in the Bank one, I'm going to say that I want Cesaro to win, but who I think will win will be... I'm going to say Sheamus. I'm going to go with your prediction. I'm going to say Sheamus comes out with it.
30 seconds. Perfect timing. Great job. That was fun.
Absolutely.
All right. So you know what? I think I'm going to call it an episode here, and then we're going to stop recording and then begin recording immediately afterwards to get our preview and predictions going.
All right, guys. So with that said, this has been Smackdown. This has been TWitWoW, the best wrestling podcast made for wrestling fans, by wrestling fans, on the web today. I am John. That was my cohort and commentary, Ashton. Guys, like and subscribe on YouTube, comment on YouTube, and tweet off. And we will see you again for Payback Live Reactions.